Practice done.
Yeah.
Day one of the pre-TT, is it?
Yeah, pre-TT. It couldn't have gone much better, to be fair. Unfortunately, the weather-wise, you know, dead sunny all day, real nice conditions, and then about 5 o'clock, to be fair, it was forecasted, the heavens opened. But it was one of them, it's just steady away really. And the STELLA, I was able to get out front off the start, just literally pick off every lap, not get involved in any spray or anything. So yeah, we literally just went out on the start pretty easy and just took it steady and just took my time. And the conditions were alright, to be fair, they weren't too bad. There's a few damp patches like through Bland Dip and into Cross Four Ways and Church Bends and that, but other than that it was bob on.
How'd you find the visibility?
Visibility in that one was actually alright, you know, because I managed to get out front and just do my own thing. It was perfectly fine. There was no like
splashback.
Yeah, there was nothing really there to put me off, so it's just a case of doing my own thing. And then came back in to find out I'd gone P1 and it was 5.5 seconds over second.
Nice.
And then we went out on the ZXR 750 and that was, to be fair, that was horrendous. I got out like mid-pack and the spray was, it was horrible. There was no clear run, so I just had to basically chip through every lap, and I managed to get a clear lap, and apparently I started 7th and then we went to 3rd, and then on the last lap I was able to put it pole. So
sweet.
We got qualifying again tomorrow afternoon, and then it is straight into a 7-lap race on the STELLA, and then Sunday will be the final race for the Classic Superbike. And
are these your bikes or?
No, so I want to say a big thank you to Gus Turner at IOM Bike Storage for supplying me with the 600 STELLA, and to Paul Duckett and John Grimshaw for supplying me with the ZXR 750. You know, without these boys I wouldn't be able to ride, because obviously I don't have the bikes myself, so I'm really made up that they were able to jump on board and allow me to ride them, so big thanks to them.
Allows you to enter events like these.
Yeah, you know, for me to warrant to buy one, to not ride all the time, you know, it's not justifiable. So I had meetings with them boys at the start of the year, and you know, we came together. And
so 2 poles in qualifying, they'll be happy with that then.
Yeah, they're both really made up. So weather forecast tomorrow is not looking great either, but same again,
seem to be shining in the rain though, champ. So.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but we'll just pick off every lap, see what we can do, and
nice
have a good crack tomorrow.
Catch you tomorrow.
Cheers, boy.
Sunday the day after. How was yesterday?
Yeah, it was good. Yesterday afternoon we had a qualifying session on STELLA, and I was able to put it P1 on the grid again. I think we had a 3-second lead after that session, and then we had a Classic Superbike session on the 750, which was nice. It was nice to get some dry runs out yesterday afternoon. Obviously the weather the first night wasn't ideal, but happy enough I was to put a pole them 2 days, but to get a dry lap in was definitely worth it and good. So we qualified P3 for the big bike race today, so we're 3rd on the grid, obviously, because it goes off your best qualifying time. So Joe Yearsley sat on pole, Andy Farrell 2nd, I'm 3rd, basically in the start grid that I started on the 600B race last year, so that should be good. As usual, nice day, perfect. Road shut for 6 o'clock and Manx weather kicks in and it starts chucking down.
Yeah, wet to say was a bit of an understatement.
It was bad. So it was a case of it started spitting, then it stopped, then it started again, and it was like looking over the clouds, and I could see it coming from Portsmouth area. I thought it's going to chuck it down any minute, so we left it till about 6:15 just to see what we do, because obviously my race is 7:20, and I made a decision putting the wets in. So as we literally finished putting the wets in, boom, the heavens opened. So it was basically a repeat of Friday night, so it was a case of everyone was in the same position. So we went out, well, the klaxon rang, we got ready, we went out onto the dummy grid, and it was really raining. When we went out on the controlled lap to the start line, I was stuck behind the traveller marshal, because obviously you got to follow them round, and I couldn't see a thing.
Right.
It was bad to spray off his bike, so I knew with being on pole that we basically had to get the jump off the start, and I knew if I got the jump off the start I'd be fine, because basically I'm creating the mist. So got on the line, clerk of the course came and asked me if it was, you know, fine to race. I looked at wet, so I was like, yeah, perfectly fine. Probably a bit debatable, but it was great. I cannot fault it. You know, well done to Southern Club for allowing us to ride in it. You know, because it was great fun. So
yeah,
we got on the start. Red lights went out, and I got my head down from start. Managed to pull a decent gap off the start line, and I knew if I could get ahead and get going with the qualifying sessions the night before, we were gonna ride well. And I knew Chris Moore on the 250 and Dan Sale, they were gonna be there or thereabouts. So I knew I had to, if I was gonna do it, I had to make a run on the first lap.
Is that because they're just designed to go around this track?
No, they're just two quick lads as well. So I knew for a fact if you slack off, they were going to catch. So first lap, I literally went hell for leather. We got to Blount dip on the first lap, and there was like a river running across coming into the dip, and being giddy and excited, you know, on the first lap, I came over the rise and I probably went in a little bit too hard for the conditions. And as I went in, I went over the water, because the water was like pretty much on the tip-in point. I'd like lost the front a little bit, and I knew to myself I had to watch that every lap, because otherwise it was gonna catch me out. So
and just, with it raining, just add more and more to that area, or like I suppose
it was sort of like one of them. Once it was running across, all night. So like you knew it was there every lap, and like cross four ways coming into there was wet, and coming out it was spinning up a little bit, but the throttle works both ways. So it's a case of, you know, just use my head. I came through on the first lap. Had a pit board come out, there was like 5 seconds, and each lap then it was a case of I was coming round and little Alex Galloway was doing the pit board for me, and it was like plus 10, plus 15, plus 20, you know, and I had a pit board come out again, was coming towards the last lap saying slow down, but I was just having so much fun out there. It was honestly, this...
I forgot you were in a race.
Yeah, this little machine is an absolute godsend to ride.
This is Gus Turner's, isn't it?
This is Gus Turner's bike, so
yeah,
it was good. But I had Gav Brown as well, sat on the hedges of Ballakegan, giving it all this, telling me to slow down. And I was having too much fun.
That's what it's all about.
And then coming into the last lap, I sort of backed off a little bit, because I seen the pit board and it was like plus 25, and I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna reel it in a little bit now. So Ballakegan corner, there's no slipper clutches on these, so just banging it down the gears and letting the back end slide a little bit, and I just had a lot of fun.
That's
and then
all that matters,
coming in to win it again, you know, second time here. The Superbike race was nice, and you know, to do for Gus as well. I said to him the last Derby round, you know, that she was gonna win it, and I can't thank him enough, you know, for allowing me to ride her all year. And you know, we're not done on her yet. We had a little issue at the last Derby. We tried a different engine and it didn't go to plan, but we're still in the fight for the championship up there.
So today, what's on the plan then?
Today, last race of the day on the classic Superbike on the Duckshaw Racing 750. Qualified P3 yesterday on that, so we're third on the grid, where we started the 600B race last year. So don't know about the weather, but it says rain at 2 o'clock, but we'll have to play it by ear. If we can get a dry run out, it'll be better, but if it's wet, everyone's in the same boat. So
yeah,
the levers are still wet from last night, so we'll just keep them like that. But no, we'll get the head down, see what we can do, and what will be. So
exactly that, mate,
good luck to everyone today, and fast and safe ride.
Good luck to you too.
Cheers, boss.
Catch you after the race.
We'll be here.
But that tastes nice after a victory.
Oh, it does, mate. Where did we leave off this morning?
Just about your preparation for today, really.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mixed emotions, to be fair. We got ready, and it literally, as we were about to start heading over to the Parc Fermé, the heavens opened. And when I mean opened, I mean it came down heavy. So I ran over to the boys and asked them to put the wets in. Then the sun decided to come out again, and it was one of them. It was a catch-22. I thought the road's going to dry, we're not going to have enough time to change anything, but made the call, went out on the wets.
So before we were rudely interrupted, you was just talking about your preparation before going out on the race. So you said you made the call on the wets.
Yeah, so we decided to go for the wet tyres because although the sun came back out, I thought the track's going to be very wet. So we went out for the sighting lap, and every apex of every corner was absolutely soaking. The back section was wet, cross four ways was soaking, so we made the right decision. Got onto the start, off the start, Andy Farrell was the man off the gate, to be fair. I was chasing him into Ballachagan. We got down to Iron Gate. When I got to Iron Gate on the first lap, as he tipped in and went into the corner, I was quite close behind him, and it was like his bike cut out, and I knew I went through the back of him. So
what would you do in that situation if it did get cut out?
It's one of them. I was that close that it was lucky enough that his bike started again, because if it hadn't started again, to be fair, I would have probably gone through the back of him. I was that close to him. And then as we went through, he sat it up and it took off again. We got into Ballabeg hairpin on the first lap, and it did the same again. He tipped in, it cut out, and I went to go past, but that Ducati that it was on was very fast, like very fast. And then we left Ballabeg hairpin all the way through, and then I remember going through the bomb hole, and I thought to myself, I've got to go. So into cross four ways in the first lap, I thought I've got to do them on the brakes. So I did them on the brakes into cross four ways and led the race. I felt him on the start and finish. After I passed him, I felt him on the slipstream. You know, there was a lot of head shake and there was a lot of tailwind, and I thought, right, he's there. So I just picked off every lap, did what I needed to do. The track started drying very quick. On the last lap, or last two laps through like Ballawhetstone and everything, there was a real dry line, and the wet tyres were sliding through there, to be fair, on the last few laps. So we just kept it steady. It was one of them, you know, you can throw a race away from doing that.
Yeah.
And Alex Galloway again on the pit board at Castan Corner, and I remember coming through towards the last lap and it said plus 14, so the last lap I sort of just backed it off a little bit and cruised to what I needed to do. I knew for a fact that we were far enough ahead, so to come through and win that race, you know, 2 in a weekend, it was
two ladies sat beside me here.
Yeah, so I'm really pleased, you know. Massive thanks to Duckshaw Racing, John Grimshaw and Paul Duckett, and all my team for this weekend. You know, it's been a good one, and you know, thanks to the Southern 100 Club and all their marshals and maggots. So it sets us up nicely for the Southern now in July.
Is that the next one, is it? Southern?
That's the next road race, and then after the Southern, 17th of August will be the first time we set off down Bray Hill. So
can't wait, mate.
We're good to go.
Thanks very much. I'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations once again.